Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News 2nd Edition. I'm your host, GTG, and let's get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the first video of the DSP request hotline, if you will. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, but there will be a dedicated playlist for this, and more than likely I'll add it to the existing playlist that we already have out, but you will have a dedicated playlist that you can go to for all these videos. Okay, this is the first time, as always, the most shakiest, so please bear with me. If anybody has any suggestions moving forward, please let me know. Also, please don't forget to check out the community tab of this channel if you have any requests, or in the previous video going over I think I titled it DSP request video or video requests. You can also go there and leave a comment down below and your request if you have one. Like I said, the only thing I ask is please leave me a link to the video, and if you can leave the title, that'd be great too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the first video, basically the first champagne bottle, if you will, to crack all of this open, is brought to us, or it was requested by the Solid Fool. Good guy, check him out. It's DSP Tries It. Yeah, DSP Tries It. Camera / direct capture. This video was done by Evil AJ 2010. As you guys know, he's the godfather of This Is How You Don't Plays. So this should actually be quite the treat. That's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk for, like I said, this is going to be shaky, but if you have any recommendations or anything you want to get tightened up, you guys are welcome to leave your comments down below, your criticisms, whatever the case may be. Open to all of that. And as the series moves forward, for however long I decide to do this, hopefully things tighten up a little bit better. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's not go ahead and delay it. Let's go ahead and get into it. It should be pretty good. It should be pretty informative. See you guys in just a second.
What's up, everyone?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here yet again with DSP Tries It, camera and direct capture. This video was done by Evil AJ 2010. The link to his video will be down in my description, as you'll find with all of the source videos and whatnot. And the Solid Fool was the one who recommended this. Thank you very much. Hopefully I'll edit it in where, you know, their names are on screen and all this, so you guys know, you know what I'm saying? And then as time goes on, I hope to get a little bit more fancy with it. Or so yeah, you know how I do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that's where we're at. And since the video basically starts off quick, this is what, January 31st of 2013. Damn. All right, well, here we go.
Darkside Phil here with a special vlog today because it's been quite a while since I did one of these, and a lot of people, I think...
His condo's a mess. That's a hot mess. And the shaky camera thing, stay still. Jesus Christ, just stay still. Like he's got like restless hand syndrome or some shit. God dog. And I think this right back there on the floor, it's kind of laying out there. I think that's the back compressor that he was using. Wow, it's a mess there, though. And to think, all that money he made, all he did was buy more stuff, more junk, for the most part, to crowd his space. As if he didn't have enough stuff already. Jesus. All right, here we go.
Have either become, you know, new fans, new viewers, or they never saw the old one. What we've got here is my setup of how I record. Now, as you can see, not direct capture, very different from what everyone else does, and I actually recorded my gameplay in this style probably way before the majority of people out there who actually do gameplay footage these days. Claiming options, I have to change.
Now, excuse me, let's talk about the whole not direct capture, very different from everybody else. Ooh, you're not a special snowflake, Phil. You're not. I mean, how you get started is one thing, as long as you can evolve as time goes on in the best way possible. Or if you're limited, just try to do the best you can with what you have. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if anything, it actually makes you more appreciative of things that you get later. But Phil was literally using that as his stamp of approval. That was his golden ticket. That was his gold medal. That, oh, everybody else does direct capture, but I don't. Look how much harder my work is. No, you were being dumb doing it that way, to be honest. But it's neither here nor there. Let's continue.
Change this to, this is a drop down saying what are you saying that you own. I have to change it to say audio visual and say I own the audio visual rights. I have to make sure all the boxes are checked down here. Okay.
Holy shit, look at them tags! Look at all those tags! Oh my Christ. Now, here's the thing. There wasn't, I guess there, at the time, in 2013, there wasn't like an audio, or not audio, an auto, like, description type situation that we have now, where, like, you can literally punch in everything you want in advance, and as long as your video doesn't deviate, you're good to go. But, I guess they didn't have it back then, but that doesn't mean this is any hard work at all. He could literally have a notepad opened up, right, and then just have everything that you want written out, and then just copy paste that shit over to YouTube. That shit, this isn't hard. This really isn't. But these, wow, look at this shit. Those tags are bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Walkthrough guides, how to. Oh, Phil was completely and utterly playing the system. He really was. Actually, I think about it, I could have probably talked over this part. But
then I have to make sure that this says game.
Yeah, Evil AJ's right. He used to shit on other people for using misleading ads or tags, using misleading tags to get themselves higher and higher up in the algorithm and whatnot. Well, how would he have known that if he wasn't doing it himself? And on top of that, as you guys saw previously, there's a lot of nonsense there that doesn't really apply to him, but he's literally trying to cover every base he can think of. Insane. Absolutely insane, man. Insane.
I've actually set it to default to say that, so I'm usually okay with that. And then I have to hit save changes. And then of how I do what I do. And one last thing, a lot of people say, Phil, you have no excuse. Why don't you do direct capture? It would actually be easier than your current setup right now. And to which I respond, it's this simple. I want you to look at my setup. You see the size of my TV? You see the nice subwoofer surround sound speakers I have here behind me? The surround sound speakers, see them? You see that? Most people who do direct capture, here's what they do. Here's their computer. They walk up to their computer and their tiny little fucking monitor, and they sit here and they grab a headset. Here's my headset for my computer. And they put their headset on their ears, and they're playing on a controller here in front of a small monitor, talking into a headset to get their commentary and having the audio of the game go through the headset.
Now wait. Here's the thing. I don't even know if his camera was able to pick up all that surround sound, so that is kind of irrelevant. You don't have to play on a monitor, that's obvious, but Evil AJ is going to already show us that. And then on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, most of his key points, if you will, benefits him, not the actual viewer. It benefits his experience. And then Phil tries to spin it to where you guys are basically living or experiencing the game through him. And that's not necessarily how it works if the technology is where it needs to be to make it enjoyable for everyone, not just Phil. And you can see that pattern with Phil right now in 2019, that he's all about himself. He's all about how he loves the game and how he should feel about it. And then you guys should feel good about it too, and give him monies. I mean, give him support. He's crazy. And that, I'm sure it's getting ready to get pointed out, there have been plenty of people who were doing direct capture before Phil, and they've worked it out, and they did it in different ways. Phil had options. He had options, ladies and gentlemen, and yet he still found a reason to screw it all up. Here we go.
voice that did the cat, like when you hear like the lower pitch of it.
Meow.
I wonder if voice actors actually did that.
And somebody caught a sexy.
Oh yeah. I actually saw this playthrough that Maximilian did with his sister for Tess, I think her name is, for Crazy Taxi. Yeah, she's and she also played X-23 later on in the what was that called? In that one series he did for Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3. Was it Boss Battles, I think? No, it wasn't Boss Battles. It was I have to look it up. But she plays X-23 too. She's definitely hot. Shouts out to Maximilian and his sister. Holy shit. Alright, here we go.
Having sex with another jock guy.
Wait, is this based on a true story?
Yeah, and then he went away and he became a taxi driver here and erased his identity and he came up with the name BD Joe, which is like buff dude Joe. I don't know, man. No, not the controller. That's not. No. Exactly.
Use the helmet. Oh, it's my face. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am beautiful. Look at this. Oh, look at that. It's me. Wow, looking pretty good. All right. Now we're behind. Hold on. He says you hold on. Oh, so you have to run away. Oh, on the edges and shit. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you mean okay. Nice face. Whoa, what the fuck? Oh, I forgot halfway through that they could see my face. I was probably making some strange ass faces while playing the game. Oh yeah, it's like actually yelling. Oh, mud? Whoa, this is kind of neat. Alright.
Shoot back.
Child support check just came through today.
My bad. I had to look it up real quick. It was the Assist Me series that he did for Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3. Yeah, that's what Max was doing, sorry. And that's what, and his sister played X-23. My fault. I had to look that up now. I was just like, that was going to start bothering me. But yeah, look at all these options. Look at all these amazing options that Phil had and just squandered them away because he was too stupid to look it up or he was too lazy. More than likely a combination of both. And Lord knows that he would have to spend any of his precious money to make any of this happen, to give his fans a better experience, which would in turn make him more money. I can understand why Phil didn't understand the logic. It's very confusing. Very confusing.
Yahoo!
Alright, here we go. Go. Come on, Rambo, Luigi, whatever the fuck. Let's go. Ooh! You know, okay, sometimes I say stage, sometimes I say level, and sometimes I say board.
Yeah.
And I never really know what's called. Like, is this the board, is this the stage, or is this the level? Is it all the same thing, or do they mean different shit?
That's not gaming to me, okay? Gaming to me is sitting in your living room, here on your nice couch, relaxing, you got a nice drink in front of you, you're ready, you sit down, you got your surround sound pumping. That's how these games are meant to be experienced. Everyone who's told me to do direct capture, when I challenge them on this, they have no answer. So the bottom line is, this is what I'm doing for now. This is how I've done it. This is how I will continue to do it for now. I'm sorry, but the way I do it is professional. It's actually difficult to do it the way I do it with the adjustments and the things on the fly, and I do it to try to give you the best commentary and, you know, the most videos per day.
You know what this is? I just thought about it. You know what this? But this is just my opinion, of course. But this is like Phil's idea of television production, like how Roseanne was taped or filmed or whatever. What's another show that Phil probably grew up watching? Married with Children, any soap opera, I would guess. This is how they, if you think about it, in some ways, a much smaller, much lazier way, this is how they produced shows back in those days. So that's why he went with the camera, that's why he went and stayed with the camera type situation. Phil was born in, what, the 80s? So he's kind of just holding on to that. He's staying with something that he's familiar with, and yet trying to speak on something that he knows nothing about. But I think that's one of the reasons why he stuck with this as long as he did. On top of the fact that he had, and I use this term loosely, he had at least a decent amount of success, and he didn't want to give up on what he felt was a winning formula. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, as all of us know, a winning formula can always be improved. And for whatever reason, Phil doesn't believe in improvements, hence the reason why he is where he is now. But that's my thought. He treated this like you were actually filming a television show back in his day. And I guess he thought this gave him a level of legitimacy. And yet you're fighting with people who are definitely 10 years younger than you, given, you know, his first girlfriend, based off her age. And yet you're fighting with these younger people about something that they either don't know a lot about, or they're well versed in to some extent because maybe they create content themselves, and you immediately want to smack them down because it doesn't fit your ideals, which is what it really comes down to at the end of the day. And as Evil AJ said, a lot of the points that he was challenging from those individuals, they probably didn't know exactly what they were talking about either. Hence the reason why he was able to challenge and get them to back down. But what about the others who did know what they were talking about? Well, they got blocked, if I had to guess. If I had to guess, they got blocked. So it's a shitty situation all around, if you really think about it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very, very shitty situation.
And it's worked. It's worked since I started on YouTube. And, you know, a lot of people this month for Ask the King have started asking me about live streaming. They've been saying, listen, Phil, it's all the rage right now. Most of the major YouTubers who are doing gaming are doing live streams. No, not for everything, but they are live streaming certain things and events. Will you do it? I'm going to be honest with everyone. This is the first time I've talked about this like this. I'm considering adopting live streaming and or direct capture in the near future, and by no means am I saying it's going to be everything that I do. By no means am I saying that I'm completely changing the way I'm doing stuff. I'm saying that I may start fooling around with it soon. You're not supposed to be hunched over in a tiny little computer chair, staring at a small PC monitor with headphones and a microphone on. That's not how you're supposed to play video games. And someone made a comment, oh, Phil, don't you realize that there are headphones?
And keep in mind, though, too, ladies and gentlemen, he was an old man at this point, if you think about it. And when I say old man, he looked like an old man. He wasn't old yet. He was still in his, what, mid-20s? No, he was in his late 20s, I think, around this time. So he was he had a chance to kind of be there at the forefront, but mentally, I should say, he's old. Mentally, he's old. That's the reason why it's so hard for him to kind of absorb information. That's why he wants to challenge everybody on everything until he finds out himself, which is really strange thinking, by the way. You're supposed to absorb it, and then you go back and cross-reference it later and background check it. You don't just sit there and just discount it, sorry. You don't just go ahead and discount the shit and whatnot so you can have your jollies for the day and then go back and look it up and then turn back around and act like you knew the whole time and try to pig-splain it to people like you've been ahead of the curve, which is what Phil does. He was mentally old. He did video games because it was easy, to be honest. He doesn't have a passion for it. He doesn't have a love for it. He just does it because it's easy. And really, the only game he really loves, the only video game he really loves is Street Fighter. That's it. And that's only because he has some success in it. If he really was truthful to himself and think about all the times he got bodied in big tournaments when he should have stepped up and he wasn't man enough to, or just didn't have the capability of doing so, he wouldn't look at Street Fighter so favorably as he does, well, as he currently does. But it's all he has at the end of the day, which is even more sad.
With surround sound, to which I say, what? Why would I want to experience headphones with surround sound? If I want surround sound, I want the sound to be around me. I don't want simulated surround sound in headphones. For me, being that I've had surround sound since, like, seriously, since 2005, I've owned my speakers and the receiver and my
here's
setup.
The thing, though, too, that this idiot still isn't taking into account. All of the surround sound really just benefits him, not the actual viewer. I don't think his camera is going to pick all of that up to the same quality or clarity that he's going to get it. At the end, and he knows that. So at the end of the day, it benefits only him. And then he thinks through his reactions, it can convey the message to everybody else. Huh?
It's like, I don't know, it's like, it's Greek to me. Why would people want to do that? You know what I mean? So for me, I don't get it. That's not gaming to me. That's like a nerfed version of gaming that you're only doing it so you can do direct capture and you know, that footage for YouTube. It's not how the game's supposed to be experienced. Bottom line is, if I can get the equipment together in the next few weeks...
And here's another problem, too, that I want to point out to you guys, is the money aspect of it, the financial aspect of it. Phil looked at it as everybody that was putting videos on YouTube at that time was doing it for profit, and they weren't. There was a lot of people who weren't doing it for profit. They were just doing it to start off. Yeah, I'm sure there's people who were getting into the Google AdSense. You put time and money into it, you know, you should be compensated. But Phil looked at it across the board, like everybody was doing it. So when he made his complaints about misleading ads, or they're swamping the search engine, and this, that, and the third, he is looking at it from someone who's greedy in his own right, and someone who eventually adopted those same tactics either which way, for profit. So, yet again, this is something that I've said on the other channel. Phil looks at everybody on YouTube and on Twitch as greedy pieces of shit. So, he assumes that everybody's trying to get over on everybody else. He's assuming that everybody is trying to play the system or game the system. And that's just not so. But since he puts everybody into this, his pot of his disgusting sauce, if you will. I need to go over those videos. It makes it easier for him to justify what he does at face value, while behind the scenes, as in his wording, he's doing the exact same thing. Or he flips it later and says, oh, well, I have to do it because that's the only way I can keep up to these guys. These guys, how do you think these guys got so big? Do you think they really love the games? They didn't love the games. They did it because they can make a quick buck off it. Well, so did you. Because if it wasn't the case, ladies and gentlemen, because we've gone over that video already, when he got fired from his job, you know, fired from his job, he would have actually stayed to his word and gone off and looked for another one. And he didn't. He didn't. He knew YouTube was going to be a lick, a good one. He just had to wait to get in. And once he got in, he wasn't giving it up. And once he ended up sucking off Hutch, getting into Machinima, and he saw that first Machinima paycheck, he was like, oh, hell no, I'm not going back to a real job. Why would he? Why would he? And yet, you've devoted yourself to this, and yet you're not even willing to learn the craft.
Maybe I'll start experimenting with it, with live streaming, maybe when John's here, or with some playthroughs, and see how it works out. And I'm not saying that, you know, this is something that I'm going to definitely do and adopt, and it's all I'm going to do, but I think that a lot of people, unfortunately, this year, 2013, have said, well, Phil's not doing direct feed. Literally every other YouTuber is, because they're sitting at their computer squinting and playing like this, which isn't what they should be doing if they're real gamers. But that's how they're doing it, and they're all doing direct feed, and now everyone's saying we like direct feed, and it's like the new fad. If you don't do direct feed, you're not the in crowd. You're not, you know what I mean? You're a relic. So maybe it's time to adapt. I don't know. I have to see what I can come up with.
Wait, did he really start direct capture the next day? Holy shit, you're a fucking hypocrite. I mean, I already knew you were a fucking hypocrite, but goddamn, you started it up the next day? And John's there too, which leads me to believe that John was probably the one who put in all the work and showed Phil how to do it. Holy shit, I really didn't know that. Wow, Phil. Wow. And people are willing to follow this piece of shit to the ends of the earth. Who would guess? Absolutely amazing.
Okay, here we go. So we are not only streaming this, we are also doing direct capture for YouTube. So this is going to be a great opportunity for us to stream and then test the quality of the video on YouTube later.
I feel like I'm in the future, Phil.
Or
fly cars will be coming
or
by
5 years ago when everyone started doing direct feed and I didn't.
Yes.
You know. Okay, so we're 1980.
That was a nice crack on good. That was a nice shot John threw at him, and then Phil basically just co-signed to it and then shitted on himself. That's a good shit, John, on that one. So not only did he adopt direct capture immediately, basically 24 hours later, then he agrees to start streaming too. But didn't he say that he was going to need some time to get the equipment together and everything before that happens? Or good old John Rambo comes through with the know-how, probably went online, read about it, and was like, okay, I know everything we need. Phil, no problem, Philium. I'll go ahead and help you out. We can get all this worked out. Jesus Christ, if it wasn't for John and Howard, dude, he would be lost. But then again, look at him now. He has no friends now, so of course he's lost. But at least he has swag in his back, right? Jesus Christ.
It's Lisa, the girl whose hair looks like a mop.
Well, Alicia, you know, she's not bad.
She's not bad? What?
She's not bad.
She was like Xbox avatars. You find them attractive?
Yeah, I do. I have many posters of them.
His camera placement's still bad, though. It should be up in the top right or left-hand corner, not where it's at there. But alright.
Yes.
All different hair colors.
Alright, what should we call the arcade?
Wait a second. While they come up with something uninspiring, I'm sure, or at least Phil's going to come up with something uninspiring. I want you to think about this for a minute. When you look at how... When you look at the fact that Phil still has the face cam now, and I've said this before, other detractors have said it also, he doesn't need it anymore, to be honest. Phil doesn't do anything that makes it worthwhile for him to have his face cam, except for make himself look stupid and whatnot. If you guys frequent Twitter or Kiwi Farms, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But outside of that, it's pointless, to be honest, especially after the flapping situation. The flapping the first time around, he should have just never have gone back to it. He doesn't provide anything with a face cam. He should just let it go, and just have his voice playing. He doesn't need the camera at all, and whatnot, because he won't adopt a green screen, which he should have already done that by now. That was the next logical step. That was the whole point. Well, one of the points for his business when he moved to from Connecticut to Seattle, or to Washington State, I should say, is that he was going to start doing direct capture, or not direct capture, but he was going to start using his green screen, and he never did. So he wasted another opportunity there. And then what's he going to do? He's going to wait another 4 or 5 years until he decides to adopt that too, and then adapt to it. It'd be already too late at that point. Like I said, man, like, how does it feel to do something for a decade and be behind on everything that goes on within basically your work, basically within your field? And if it wasn't for John, I bet you anything, if Phil had stayed in Connecticut, he'd be using that green screen. I guarantee it. Or if John and Howard and some of those guys ended up moving to Washington State, maybe they found jobs there, whatever the case may be, I bet you anything he would adapt that green screen if that was the case. But since he's all on his own, or it was just him and Panda at the time, and now it's only him and Cat, he won't do it. Because who else is going to do that? All the heavy lifting and the placement and the maneuvering his room around to make all that happen. Crazy, dude.
What is going on, everybody? DSP here. And I am going to show you my new setup that I've now been using for about, I want to say as of tomorrow, it's been 2 weeks of direct capture / streaming capability. Okay? Now, my equipment to do the audio and capture, okay? We've got, first of all, my new headset. It is the Turtle Beach Ear Force 7. Why would I want to experience headphones with surround sound? If I want surround sound, I want the sound to be around me. I don't want simulated surround sound in headphones. But it does give me the 5.1 surround that I want. Here we are. Full 720p video. This is, you know,
why does he even need headphones though? You still don't need I think he could still keep his surround sound and he still doesn't need the headset. Actually, I know that's the case because people have talked about it. He bought it so he could fit in with everybody else and seem like he was special? Jesus Christ.
Direct capture ends up looking a hell of a lot better than what I was doing. Of course, I'm recording it with a camera right now, so you can't tell that it's any better. But it does end up looking a hell of a lot better than just using the camera like I used to. And it's extremely high quality. The audio is great. I mean, massive benefits to doing it, but it is more work for me. And the one thing that I've noticed is that, unfortunately, I do have less time in the day. Okay? So it does take up my time when I'm...
It takes more time in his day.
Streaming, I can't be uploading. When I'm streaming, I can't be encoding videos. Behind the scenes, I know I haven't mentioned this at this point, but a couple weeks ago, someone named Chris 3KB actually contacted me on YouTube. He's been working with a couple of his friends, and they've actually created me a website completely for free.
Look at all those arcade sticks that are probably in that nook now, that are literally being wasted. And yet this dumbass says he has nothing that, he doesn't have anything to sell. I just want to sell my statues, and no one wants to give me a serious offer. Why don't you sell some of these old arcade sticks that you're not doing shit with? I would be willing to buy the one, especially that fight stick at the very top there, if it's at least in decent shape. I'd be willing to buy it. Then again, I'm just gonna gut out all of the actual stick itself and the buttons and just replace it. Probably have to replace the board too. I mean, that's all right. I'm cool with doing that. Jesus Christ, it's just a hoarder. That's all he is. He's a fucking hoarder. Their trappings. A lot of this, ladies and gentlemen, are just trappings of his glory days, or represent his success at something, and that's why he's not willing to part with it. So strange. But then again, I'm not gonna pay. You know, saying I heard a story on Kiwi Farms actually, that there was a guy in Colorado who wanted to buy one of his statues, and Phil wanted to charge the guy $100 just for shipping, on top of whatever it costs for the statue itself. He wanted to charge the guy $100, and the guy's in Colorado. I think the guy was in Colorado. And Phil's in Washington State. And it was going to be $100 to ship it. Fuck out of here.
Charge me anything, and this is amazing. The website is www.thekingofhate.com. Now, what's the deal with this? Basically, I wasn't charged anything. These guys set this website up for me for free. What's going on, everyone? As you can see...
Yeah, he shitted on those guys hard. So those dudes made a website for him, and then they built a PC for him. Then he bitched about the PC later on, even though he himself didn't know actually how to... He didn't know how to operate the PC itself. He didn't know how to do, how to update it. He didn't know how to go in and actually make, and to do modifications. And it was easy. Just from what I've seen, I should say, on video. It would have been very, very easy to upgrade that PC if he wanted to at any given time. Like, they left him a whole lot of space to do whatever kind of customizations that he would need to do, or any upgrades later on down the line. It was basically foolproof, if you will. And he still fucked it up. And then bitched and complained and had his whole community essentially turn against them. And they did him a favor. They did him a solid. Amazing.
I've received my new PC, and what I want to do is unbox it. So this is my new PC. This was built by Chris and Teo, who are the original creators of my website, thekingofhate.com. You know, from time to time there's a PC release that I might like to play. Like last year I played StarCraft 2, and it would be nice to have a gaming PC. So these guys actually offered, because they, I believe, they either have some kind of a program with Tiger Direct up in Canada, or they're working for them. I'm not 100% clear on the situation, but basically they offered to build me a computer, so I sent them some money, and then we talked a little bit about it, and we decided I wanted to soup it up a little bit more. Let's see what this is. They put something up here. He says, "Hey Phil, Chris here, just writing you a note. If you decide to do an unboxing video for this new PC, it looks like I will be a part of it." Well, I'm reading your note, so yeah, obviously you are. I'd just like to tell you how much frustration it has been put into this PC. First off, sorry it took so long for you to get this PC. We got the parts on April 30th, and it's been
Look at this fucking rocking back and forth. That's the first thing. Second thing is, how about we turn some light on somewhere, champ? Can't do that? You can't flick a lamp on or something? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's obvious that you have a bunch of natural light, you know what I'm saying, coming through your door and your window. Open up some blinds or something. And then this rocking back and forth. I remember someone was telling me something about it was a sign of some type of sign of autism, but he's definitely been doing it for a very, very long time. and we're talking about full tilt. We're talking about him going into a full tilt here, and he does it not only when he's standing, but he does it when he's sitting down too. Like anytime that he's just idle and he's not doing anything, he just starts to rock. Very weird. It's very, very weird.
Approximately 20 days. Teo and I hope you enjoy your new PC and that you'll take good care of it like we have. This PC was quite the pain to put together, but it should run smoothly now. The PC, whoops. Let me tell you what is in this beast of a computer so your fans know what we put inside this computer, okay? Intel i7-950 processor running at 3.07 gigahertz, an Asus Sabertooth X158 motherboard updated to the latest BIOS, 16 gigabytes of Kingston Extreme RAM running at 1333 megahertz, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 460, very good quality card, will run every game on maximum settings. I also included Sony Vegas Pro 10, good because I need that for video editing, I need to learn how to use it, as well as Adobe CS5 Master Collection. You can thank my school for that because they supplied you with those. I also installed Crysis 1 just to test out this PC on maximum settings. I've also installed...
In recent times, for you guys who have been keeping up with some of Phil's day-to-day bullshit, he said that he had to actually give up on Premiere because he had Adobe Premiere. He was paying $200 a year, $200 a month, whatever, for it. Obviously, it was a year, I'm pretty sure. He was paying $200 for $200 a year on it and hadn't edited a video in who knows how long. And if he did, he only did it for the B-roll to thank all his Patreon supporters. That was basically it. But this dude has Sony Vegas 10, which is still a very decent program even now. People do amazing shit off Sony Vegas 10. And even though, what, 14 is out currently? 15, I think? But, you know what I'm saying? You can still work some magic. For the basic shit that Phil uses, outside of any free program, editing software that he could find, which would far surpass Sony Vegas 10 at this point, that right there would still be a pretty good program. So why are you paying for Adobe Premiere and you're not even using that to its full capability? God damn, he was just wasteful. He was just wasteful as a person. He really was.
A couple other games to test out this PC. You can choose to remove them or keep them for future walkthroughs. I've also installed you AVG 2011, courtesy of Tiger Direct, so you can enjoy that as well. I'm not sure what that is. I guess I'll find out. And the big announcement, oh God. We got you Amnesia the Dark Descent. I know you're busy with other walkthroughs, especially this week being LA Noire and probably The Witcher, but a lot of your fans have asked for that game, so I decided to purchase it for you and install it on your computer. In Sony Vegas 10, I installed a preset render that I use to render my videos, which will render them in about 50 to 100 megabytes for a 10-minute video with high quality, just like my videos. The pre-render is called Phil's Settings. I'll have to see if that works out or not. I also installed a program called CPU-Z, which can detect how well your computer is running. If you experience any difficulties in your computer, I suggest running it to see how it runs. I hope you enjoy this beast of a PC. It's been a pleasure working with you, Chris. There's also a cable in there that you should use, the mini HDMI to regular HDMI adapter. Okay. Ugh. Holy shit, this thing is monstrous. Wow, I'm just looking. It's got every kind of connection imaginable. Oh, good, it's cracked.
Wow, look at that spot back there. Holy shit. I guess it must be in the genes, I guess. Thanks, Mom, or Aunt, or Dad, or whoever it is for the balding.
It got damaged in shipping. Yep, there's a crack on the side. Well, I kind of expected this thing was going to get damaged. I did. I expected fully that it was going to get damaged in shipping, and there it is. A crack right on the front.
But look how small that is. That's minuscule. That ain't shit. That's really not. Glue that shit then if it really bothers you. But he literally was bitching about that for years. He was bitching about that for years. And matter of fact, when he ended up moving to Seattle, or moving to Washington State, I'm sorry. It's just easier to say Seattle. When he moved to Washington State, remember when he spent like $3,000 on that lemon he bought from Cyberpower and whatnot, PC? I think it was Cyberpower, to be honest. He ended up buying, Cyberpower PCs. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Sorry. He ends up buying a $3,000 PC from them, talking all this shit about this is how you do ship a PC, and just completely trying to shit on Chris and Teo. And then the top of that bitch is broken. I mean, it's broken. Like the latch from the inside was broken up and everything, and that shit was damn near a dud. And this idiot was too stupid to send it back to have them fix it or build him a new one. He spent $3,000 on that damn thing, which is I think it's still the PC he uses today, and didn't send it back to them to have them not only fix the hatch, which really he could do that himself, but he's stupid and he doesn't know any better, but also to fix some of the actual internal problems that the PC had. Amazing. Threw $3,000 away so he could throw that shit into Chris and Teo's faces, only for that shit to be in almost worse shape than the original one that they built for him. Amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
Door. So I knew something was going to happen. I am planning on doing some stuff with it. As I said, I got The Witcher 2. It's still here on my counter, and I'm waiting to try this guy out and see how it runs on here. They got me Amnesia: The Dark Descent, but yeah, I'm interested. I'm very excited to try this sucker out, and I'm very grateful that they did the work for me, because I would have never been able to figure this shit out.
Chris and Teo built me a lemon, and yet the PC he ended up getting later, that $3,000 PC he paid for and he was so proud of, turned out to actually be a lemon. That's amazing. That's karma, bitch. Help! So him and John had to go out, spend a couple $100. I've been up since 7 a.m. It doesn't work. Oh, because of course he wasn't gonna be able to do it by himself. He had to go and get John. Really was like, you owe me an apology and whatnot. You said this shit was easy and it's not. And he's like, just admit that this shit is not easy right now before I go to bed. What kind of crying little bitch are you? Oh, wow. And keep in mind, he's talking to guys that are younger than him. And this is how he's acting. And these two people went out of their way for him. And this is how he treats them later on, because he can't figure out what's going on, or he can't figure out what to do. Nothing in life is easy, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing, or it wouldn't be worth having. At least apparently not in Phil's part of Connecticut. Was he from Bridgeport? I don't know. I've talked to some pretty decent people from Bridgeport, and they don't act like this. Notice how Chris didn't apologize to me before he left. Oh my God, Phil! Look how is. Oh. Whining like a little bitch. I want to do a direct feed for tomorrow. Now I might actually drop the entire thing. No one's watching the playthrough anyway. Oh, poor baby. Oh, nobody wants to see your shitty ass playthrough, so now you're gonna have to drop it all like a whiny little bitch. Oh, that's so sad. So sad.
This sucks. I really don't want to wear headphones, but there's just no solution. There's no solution besides headphones for surround sound. It sucks. Alright, I'm sorry for surround sound, for direct capture. This is what I've been telling everybody. You can't do it. You cannot do direct capture without headphones. Oh no, it's easy. Just do this. No, it doesn't fucking work. Yeah, you know what would be much better than me doing all this work and all this research trying to figure out how to do direct capture? How about everyone who does direct capture who called me lazy and called me, oh, it's so easy to do. How about they just shut the fuck up and they admit that they sit at their computer at a small monitor with a fucking computer chair with headphones on with a little fucking microphone and they play like that? Why don't they just admit it? Instead of calling me the lazy guy. Me, oh, Phil, he makes fun of us, but that's because he doesn't understand. No, I understand. You do it probably because you're in a place where you don't live by yourself and you can't have a big screen TV and you can't have surround sound. I understand that, okay? Why the fuck do you think I started with a camera to begin with? But that's not how games are meant to be experienced. You're supposed to be experiencing it like you're in a movie theater. That's why they're hiring orchestras and professional fucking composers and these people to do these amazing graphics, which you can't see on a small monitor. Why can't people just fucking admit that direct capture does not work for a person who's in a living room, who's on a normal...
Okay, so, I'm sorry. I had to cut in on this because this blatant ignorancy is... I don't even know if that's a word, but that's a word, ignorancy. Kind of. If not, it's a word now. His ignorance is astounding. It's absolutely astounding. Because Phil Burnell can't do it, everybody's lying. Everybody actually went through a major hassle to do it, and I can't do it. And they need to just admit that they're all liars, and they're all just actually sitting at their computer desk actually playing. They're not sitting on a couch. They're not comfortable. They're not doing any of these things. They all have to wear headsets, despite the fact that, as Evil AJ has shown, there are plenty of examples of no one having to wear headsets at all. Everybody hearing the game quality just fine. But Phil assumes that they're all liars, and that it's not easy. And because it's not easy, everybody actually does it the way he's about to do it, because it's the only way to do it. And people wonder why he's fired, or he ended up getting fired. People wonder why he's losing his fan base left and right. I don't care about the amount of money that Phil makes. It's astounding that he's still able to pull in that amount of money, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. At the end of the day, he was setting himself up to fail from the beginning, or he was destined to fail, to be honest. And if his current supporters don't see that, that's fine. They don't have to. You know what I'm saying? No one ever really wants to see people for what they really are, especially if those people have been abusing you as long as they have, especially as long as Phil has. He is utter shit and has been, and people still gave him the benefit of the doubt because they wanted to believe. They wanted to believe that he was the good person that he really was. Oh, Phil just has a couple of stumbles. Oh, Phil just gets frustrated. When he gets frustrated, he gets angry, this, that, and the third. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a battered wife. That sounds like those battered wives who, oh, he's such a great guy when he's not drinking, or when he's not on drugs, or when he doesn't have a bad day at work, or whatever it is. Oh, he just hits me. He hits me, but he doesn't actually mean to hit me. He still loves me, this, that, and the third. Sure, that's exactly what that shit sounds like. That's what it sounds like looking at a DSP fan. Not just now, but back then too. Actually, at the time that I'm recording this, Swaggins has gone ahead, apparently, and crawled himself right back to the piggy pen. He's gone back up to Phil's hoof, and Phil put his dirty, disgusting hoof in Swaggins' face, and Swaggins got on his hands and knees and kissed it and said he was sorry. That's what he did. That's what Swaggins did. And they almost all do that. Almost. Not all of them, but most of them. Let's say that. Most of those people who've been over there, who've given a lot of money or been around for a long time, when they finally break away, everybody wants to champion them. Which makes no sense to me, really. To be honest. There's been very few people in my time doing this that I've championed because they've left Phil. I think it's good on them, but I don't think they're going to immediately join the detractor ranks. I don't think they're going to immediately just turn around and be good people, because most of them just turn back around and go right back to him. Or they just go off and find somebody else. And if they do, great. They need to find somebody else. But I automatically assume anybody who leaves there is going to eventually crawl back to Phil. Because why not? Where else are they going to go? And in truth, they have plenty of places to go. But mentally, they are so codependent on Phil, as Phil is codependent on them. It's a symbiotic type relationship, that they get in a really, really bad way when they're not over there. They've dealt with his bullshit so long, the indoctrination, the pig psychosis, the battered piggy syndrome, whatever you want to call it. They've dealt with it for so long that they don't know nothing else. So now you have weak kids who are going to turn out to be weak individuals. More often than not. And then what? Now you have, and as usual, like any cult leader or anything like that, they're following a weak individual. Someone who's weaker than they are, but has put on the facade, has fronted that he was better than them or he knew best, that they just believed them. And even when evidence was put in front of them, they were willing to push it to the side to stay close to him. That's scary. That's scary that an individual could have that much control over people. For years. For years. And then he's as ignorant as he just wants to be. It's pure laziness, it's pure stupidity. Nothing should be easy. Anything that you step into that's easy, then just step right out of it. Because it's not really worth your time, because you can't grow in something like that. You have to have obstacles. You have to have barriers. You have to have situations that will force you to think, to overcome it. Because if not, you just end up like Phil. Whenever something big comes along, Phil has to call to someone else, or basically do a call to arms, a call to bacon, to have people come out and defend him, or do the work for him, or pay his taxes, pay his mortgage, pay for games, do an Amazon wish list. Keep naming it. Phil doesn't do anything for himself anymore. Barely. So it's kind of funny, ladies and gentlemen, that since I first started doing these type of videos on this channel, looking back into his past and whatnot, and then you look up to right now in 2019. So from 2000, I think the first video I did on him was 2009. So from 2009 to 2019, he has figured out a way to literally have people do everything for him, so he can just play the games and reap the rewards. Because when it comes to his financial situation and everything else, that could all be blatant lies too, for all we know. We'll never really know. But they could be blatant lies in themselves. And people will still praise him for it. Oh, Phil, you did it because that was the only way you could protect yourself and your wife. No problem, Phil. We understand, Phil. We're still with you, Phil. And yet, The people who call that out are the bad guys.
TV who's with normal speakers. It doesn't fucking work. Why can't people admit it? No, oh no, my setup's, you know, oh, you're the exception. No, fuck you. Seriously, fuck you. No, direct capture doesn't work for normal people who just want to sit and play a game. It doesn't. It's an expensive, it's a complicated, it's a time-consuming procedure, and it's not easy to do. I'm tired of people...
Wait, what? Okay, if you watch my streams with ad block enabled, you are making an active decision to steal from me on YouTube. I only get paid for views on Twitch. What? I do not get paid for, I do not get paid unless you watch the ads. Holy shit, I put out a product in exchange streams in exchange for you to watch those streams with ads on them. Holy shit. Wow, you greedy bastard. You greedy bastard. Like he expects everybody, or like he did expect everybody back then to watch him without ad block. Holy shit.
Making me the scapegoat, saying, oh, look at Phil. He got big on YouTube, but he still uses the camera, and so fuck him. No, fuck you.
Wait,
seriously.
How is it that Phil was able to ban people for using ad block? How would he know that? Because it's titled, is it right for DSP to ban people for using ad block? But how would he know that? And who would be dumb enough to tell him that? Wow.
Fuck you. Why you gotta get on my fucking case? Here, I'll give you a hint. If you don't hear echoes in their videos, they use headsets. That's the trick. Or they video edit. Meaning, oh gee, they don't put out a lot of videos like I do because they're taking time to video edit all the videos first. So of course they have fucking time to edit out the echoes and such. I'm not the average YouTuber, okay? I'm not some guy sitting in front of his computer with his eyes squinted, he's got headphones on, he's using direct capture, and he's, you know, he's an expert at video editing, that's why he got into it, and he doesn't care about video games, he's only here to just fucking put out videos for you to make money. No, I'm here to inform and entertain you, and I want to continue to do that.
I don't know.
Well, someone stole his bag. Some dick.
It's that pervert
college
janitor.
prank.
I'm telling you, he's rubbing his janitor balls all over his nice
Oh.
sweaty socks.
The janitor put on his clothes. These are great. I don't get it. What the hell's square? Why does it keep showing up?
Wearing. These guys like, yes! Yes!
He's dancing in front of the jukebox. The Yeti's back. He's playing Lunar Module.
Yeah.
How much is the final game? Everyone, Dark Side.
Alright. What the fuck, Phil? What the fuck, Phil? Okay, so first let me get his ugly mug off screen. If you don't, I gotta just let's get that gone and shit. That was ridiculous. Okay, so couple of key points. One, the dude's a hypocrite on the massive level, even back then. I'm really surprised people let him slide for as long as he did. I'm really shocked by that. And the thing is, right, and that's something that as long as I've been, I've been doing this and going back and looking at some of Phil's old stuff, like there's so much shit that people just put up with is amazing. A lot of the bashing that he did to his own fan bases is ridiculous. Like, I'm really surprised there wasn't a massive purge before that. Or whenever individuals gave him good advice, he would say, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And if people started to kind of catch on to that and started to kind of build a movement, he would just ban all of them. And people were okay with letting that happen. Like, well, they shouldn't have pushed Phil. Let Phil do it at his own pace, yada, 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 yada. No one said that Phil couldn't do it at his own pace, but you have to get Phil to at least acknowledge that this is something that can be done. But Phil is too busy being like, oh, it can't happen, it's not possible. It's funny because these people were kids, if you think about it. These people were kids, right? Or at least young adults. And they were literally raising him. While at the same time, oh, it's weird. Okay, so Phil is basically indoctrinating these people. Kids, young adults, so on and so forth. While at the same time, they were basically hand-holding and raising him just so they could get the best out of him so they could go ahead and get their entertainment. He literally figured out a way to make these people work for him and push the content along so he could get to where he's at right now. And when those people ended up giving up and leaving, it's when everything fell apart. But he never put no real effort into anything anyway. So what was the point of all of that? It's nonsense. It's nonsense to believe that someone could do this for this long. And every time something new came up, they had to make excuses on why they couldn't do it. It's amazing that this idiot here can't even play games correctly and bash people for trying to motivate him to be better and do better, especially when this is what he does for a living. These people don't do that for a living. They don't have any real stake in whether Phil fails or not, but he convinced them that they did. He convinced them that, hey, if I fail and if I lose all this, that's the end for you guys too. And people believed them. Ladies and gentlemen, if I leave tomorrow, your lives will go on as it should. I was a drop in what is the ocean that is your life. And that's how it should be, to be honest. But this man right here convinced them that he was the ocean, that he was their ocean. That's insane. And then to see him not be able to do really anything by himself. If it wasn't for John, he would have never have ended up getting the direct capture working or even getting his streaming together. Because you saw he tried to do it on his own, at least by the looks of it. He was trying to capture it from his PS3 and he couldn't make it all happen. And John must have came in later on, tried to do what he could, and then overnight he was like, okay, maybe I can go online and see what's up. And then they finally got it working. Maybe, maybe not, but I'm assuming John was a big part of it all getting worked out. Because Phil can't take or follow instructions. You see that in his gameplay. This is an amazing type of situation that I'm really glad that I started this, but I'm more importantly than that, I'm really glad that people are okay with participating in something like this. Because this shit needs to get out there. It needs to get out there, the silly shit that he did. Not my version of it, because, you know, I ramble along and shit. But for the original, you have these gems out there that people probably have, that a lot of people who are new to the DSP community, the Tractor community, if you will, or even Phil's community themselves, have never seen this, maybe even never heard of it. And this needs to get out. Amazing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. Thank you yet again to Evil AJ for making the video. Thank you to The Solid Fool for recommending this video. I very much appreciate it. This is video number 1 of hopefully a few, if not many, for however long I'm able to do it. But thank you guys very, 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 very much for kind of sitting through it all. And I'll see you guys for the next video. Ladies and gentlemen, please check out my partner in crime, Agent Proper of the DIA and whatnot, and not only the Pig Roach Files, but also the live investigation streams that he does. He has 3 of them so far at the time that I'm recording this. Please check them out. They are very good watches. I will leave the link to those in the description. And just check it out. He's going through a lot of the lore too. He's been around for a lot of it, if not almost all of it. So he knows. So if there's any questions that you have, he's a very good person to pose them to. Also, follow him on Twitter. If you ask him a question or if you add him on Twitter, he will tweet back at you. He's a nice guy. And there's a lot to do, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot to do and whatnot. And I'm gonna try to do as much as I can. I know Agent Proper is gonna try to do as much as he can. Sorry. And obviously, Tevin is the holy grail when it comes to DSP lore, as well as Theo. too, by the way. I don't want to forget about Theo. Theo knows a lot too because he's been around. But this is what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, the correlations that you see here in this video spans all the way up to now. And it shouldn't be a surprise to any of us. Phil had legitimately good people who wanted to see him do well, who wanted to see him succeed, and were willing to go out of their way at their own personal cost, at their own personal time, and so on and so forth to make sure he could get himself into position. And the little bit that he had to do to contribute to his own success, he wasn't willing to do. Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News 2nd Edition. Request line, I'm not sure. This is DSP News 2nd Edition. I've been your host. Thank you so very much for listening in. And I'll see you guys for the next request video or just the next video in general. Take care of yourselves. Lazy son of a bitch. God, it's it. Jesus Christ.